Dear students, see in lesson number 5, last time we discussed various magnetic property of the materials. That is a type of the magnetic material. We discussed about paramagnetism, ferromagnetism and diamagnetism. We also saw effect of temperature on ferromagnetic material, and we talked about Curie's law. Now today we start with a new topic, that is the effect of the temperature on paramagnetic material. This can be asked in a 2-mark question. Okay. Now we know in paramagnetic material dipole moment is there, but at room temperature all dipole moments are not arranged in the same direction. So scientist Curie give the relation for magnetization of ferromagnetic material, that is C B0 upon T. See, T is the absolute temperature, okay, and M is the magnetization. Now we are familiar with the equation B is equal to mu 0 H. So M is equal to C mu 0 H upon T. Now we can write H, we can take in denominator. Now M upon H is chi, that is magnetic susceptibility. Okay. So what is our relation become? C mu 0 upon T. Okay. Remember these are the formula also. Okay. Useful for the MCQ part also. So what we see from the relation, that is chi is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. Okay. Chi is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. So what we can say, initially, see the dipole moment are not in the same direction. Okay. But what happened when temperature of a paramagnetic material is decreased? When temperature of paramagnetic material decreases, see the dipole moment start aligning in same direction. Okay, see the dipole moment start. Why? Because it is absolute inversely proportional to absolute temperature. Okay, so on further decrease in temperature, more and more dipole align themselves in same direction. Okay, so more and more dipoles start align in the same direction. Okay, now at a particular temperature, all dipole arrange in same direction. Okay, so we saw that as the temperature decreases, dipoles start align, means to arrange in the same direction. On further decrease in the temperature, more and more dipole arrange in the same direction. See at a particular temperature, see the all dipole arrange in the same direction. So at that time, see the magnetization will be maximum. Okay, and from that we can say chi also is maximum. So we can write like this: at that temperature, magnetization M excuse me, see this is called this particular condition is called saturation temperature. So we have seen that the magnetic susceptibility is inversely proportional to temperature. So by decreasing the temperature, see the magnetic susceptibility will be increased, and at a particular low temperature, see the magnetization and chi will be maximum. This condition is called saturation magnetizing. At that time, see that will be M will be maximum value. That will be M max, we can write. Okay, so this is about the effect of the temperature on paramagnetic material. Okay, now see when we discussed ferromagnetic material, okay, we saw that there are two types of ferromagnetic material. One is a soft ferromagnetic material and second is a hard ferromagnetic material. Now before discussing this, we have to study about the hysteresis curve. Okay, hysteresis curve. We know the various magnetic properties. Okay, magnetic properties are used in design of various instruments or device. For example, transformer, okay, in which the magnetic material is an important property. So there, depending on the requirement, which type of material we should select, see that can be studied by taking the help of the hysteresis curve. Okay, so this can be asked in a 2-mark question. Explain okay, and various points on that, and two important definition here. One is a retentivity and second is a coercivity. Okay, now see, suppose a solenoid is there, we know number of turns. Okay, see the current is passed. Now we have to study magnetic property of a given material. Let us say a specimen of a given material, okay, which has a definite volume. So if its volume is known, we can come to know about M also. Now this is placed inside the solenoid, okay, and see the current is changed. Now we studied the relation, okay, H is equal to B upon mu 0 minus M. What is H? Magnetic intensity. B is a magnetic field. M, okay, it is the magnetization of the material. See, for a given material, this capital M will be, that is magnetization will be maximum. See, here we have to study our graph of relation between H, that is a magnetic intensity, and B is a magnetic field. Now for a given material, okay, we can plot the graph of H versus B, that is H is a magnetic intensity and B is a magnetic field. Okay, now see, we can prepare a table of H versus B, corresponding value we can easily calculate. Now see how the graph will pan out, that we have to study. Now see, the relation here is not simple or not linear, it is a complex relation. Okay, it is a complex relation, okay, that we have to study now. Now why? Because we cannot obtain linear relation from the given equation. But see, the graph will be like this. See, initially when H is increased, B also will increase. See, this is point A is obtained. See, point A is called the saturation magnetization. So what we can see here, let us say value of H we have increased, corresponding B also increased. Okay, now suppose we decrease the value of H, okay, then there will be no corresponding decrease here, but see the graph will be like this. Okay, the graph will pan out like this. Okay, now this point B we obtain. See, B is called the retentivity. Okay, point A in the graph is called saturation magnetization. Okay, so when the H is decreased further, B will not decrease linearly, but B will somewhere get value here. So point B is called the retentivity. Okay, point B is called the retentivity. See, for a particular material, B of value, that is R stands for retentivity, is 1.2. That's why. Okay, for a given material which is shown in the textbook, see the value B, that is retentivity, is called is to 1.2 Tesla. Now we define retentivity. Okay, that can be asked as a MCQ in a VSQ. See, that is value of B for which H is equal to 0 is called retentivity. So we can write like this: value of B for which H is equal to 0 is called okay. So what is retentivity? So the value of B for which H is equal to 0 is called the retentivity. Now see, here H value has become 0. Now suppose we take the negative value, that is minus some value. Okay, so in that case, see the graph will be like this. Here, see point C. See what we see at point C. H has some definite value, but B has become 0. Okay, so point C is called the coercivity. Okay, now see, for a given material, okay, H is a magnetic intensity at point C is minus 90 ampere per meter. Okay, now these are the value given in the textbook, so we'll be writing this. Now again, see, this is a point C is called the retentivity. Sorry, point C is called the coercivity. Now define coercivity also. That is value of H for which B is equal to 0 is called. Okay, value of H for which B is 0 is called the coercivity. So coercivity value is the 90 minus 90. Now suppose we further decrease the value of H. Okay, we further decrease the value of H. Okay, here also there will be saturation magnetization. Again, see, value of H is decreased to some maximum negative value, then we again increases. Okay, so the graph will be like this, and finally we obtain the graph like this. Okay, this is a closed curve. Okay, this is a closed curve. What we obtain, see, this is a point B here. Here again will be saturation magnetization. Here also a resistivity, retentivity. Okay, so this is called the hysteresis curve. See, the given different type of magnetic material have a different hysteresis curve. That will be the characteristics of a given magnetic material. So just now we have a log table. Okay, values are there for various alloys or metals. There are corresponding curve. From this they determine the losses. Okay, and for their requirement they choose a suitable material. So this is about the hysteresis curve. Now this is hysteresis curve, basically, okay, represent the energy losses. Okay, hysteresis curve basically represent the energy losses per unit volume. Okay, energy loss per. So this closed curve is called hysteresis curve, and we can write like this: energy lost per unit volume of sample of magnetic. Okay, so the hysteresis curve is useful to study the magnetic property of the material. See, two important definition we have seen. First is the retentivity, that is value of B for H is equal to 0 is called the retentivity, and here coercivity, that is value of H for which B is 0 is called the coercivity. So this is a important question, can be asked. We have to represent the graph properly and given nomenclature, then we can get the complete marks. So this is about this is how we study the magnetic property of the materials. Now see, as I talked, two type of ferromagnetic material. One is a hard ferromagnetic and second is a soft ferromagnetic material. So we can classify now. What are hard ferromagnetic material? See, the ferromagnetic material which retain their magnetism over a very long period of time, they are called hard ferromagnetic material. See, the ferromagnetic material which retain their magnetism over very long period of time are called. Okay, so now see, the various magnetic materials are selected. Okay, see the Alnico. What are the examples of cobalt? Okay, see Alnico, cobalt and Inconel. Okay, and see, Alnico is an alloy of aluminum plus nickel plus cobalt. Okay, okay, plus copper. So these are the examples. This you have to remember. Then can be asked in MCQ. See, lesson number 5, important for the theory type of MCQ. Okay, in exam also you will see some of the MCQ based on the theory part. So that's why we should. Now some information is given regarding how to prepare a magnet. See, this is our common experience when you are very small. See, you keep a suppose you have a piece of magnet and a blade is there. You rotate blade in particular direction near the bar magnet. It will be magnetization. It will be magnetized for a small interval time. So it can attract after doing for number of times. Okay, arranging, it can attract small materials like pin or like that. See, these are temporary magnets. These are temporary magnets. Now see, then how to prepare magnetic materials? See, hard ferromagnetic material. See, the common example is this. See, suppose a solenoid is there. Okay, see, ferromagnetic material which we want to prepare permanent magnet is placed inside the solenoid. Now see, the current is passed through it. Okay, because of the current, we know the magnetic field will be produced by the solenoid, and because of this, these are all prepared industrially. Okay, on a larger scale. Okay, so when desired value of current is passed, required value of the current is passed, this material will turn to a ferromagnetic material. Okay, so this is how the ferromagnetic, this is how the permanent magnets are prepared. Okay, now see the temporary magnet. See, in temporary magnet we know, see, we have to recall the soft iron. Okay, that are electromagnet. Okay, see, what are electromagnets? See, the common example we studied in the our lower standard is a electric bell. So what was the arrangement there in the electric bell? These are simple arrangement. Now see here, soft iron, number of turns are there. Okay, now see, when key is closed, current passes through this. See, a magnetic field will be produced, and because of this magnetic field, this iron plunger will be attracted. Okay, and once you switch off or you make current as 0, you will remove the current, switch off the circuit, it will loses the magnetism. So electromagnets are the materials which obtain magnetism when current is passed through it. So now this is a common example of a electromagnet. There is a bell, electric bell, okay, which is studied in the earlier standard. So electromagnets are the materials which gets magnetized when current is passed through. Okay, now see that generally soft iron is a material which is used. Now next we have to see what are the uses of magnetic material or the magnets. See, magnets are used in a loudspeaker. Now that we have seen in the electric bell also. You know, it is used in a cranes also. It is used in a cranes also. We know whenever accident is there, okay. See, a crane comes and this is a, let us say, car is a metallic body. So because of the is a huge crane or the strong magnets, they can carry the car to the desired position. So these are the uses of the magnetic material. Okay, one is in a loudspeaker. Second is a electric bell, and third is in a fridge. Okay, now these are all basic information. Okay, so with that we come to end of this theory part of this lesson. Okay, hard ferromagnetic material, we talked of soft ferromagnetic material. See, nowadays there was, see, this what we study in the theory part, the most basic thing. Okay, I don't know, you might have seen a floppy disk or not, or your cassette of a tape recorder. All were basic materials which were used. There also they use magnetic tape. Okay, earlier we used to store the data. Okay, nowadays we have got hard disk. That earlier we used to store data in a floppy drive. Okay, that also was made up of magnetic materials. Okay, so this is all about the theory part of this lesson. Now we should start the example for lesson number 5. Okay, now we start for the examples. Now first we start with the example number 5.1. Okay, now see, the question says, see, the magnetic needle has a magnetic moment (6.7 into 10⁻⁻² ampere meter square) and moment of inertia recall the moment of inertia we studied in. Okay, what is the unit of this? Kg meter square. Why? See your formula, I is equal to mr square. That is, I is equal to mr square. Mass is in kg, distance is in meter, so it will be kg meter square. Now, tan oscillation. Okay, for one oscillation, how much time? For time is t. Okay, see what you have to find out? The magnetic field. So a magnetic needle having 6.7 into 10 to minus 2 ampere meter square, dipole moment and moment of inertia like this, oscillates or vibrates. It performs 10 oscillation in 6.7 seconds. You have to find out the magnetic field of that place. Now see, our equation is T is equal to 2 pi root I upon mb. Okay, T is equal to under root I upon mb. So we can write T square 4 pi square I mb. So b is equal to 4 pi square I. We make b as a subject of the equation, m into t square. 4 pi value is 3.4. I, that is a moment of inertia. M, T is 0.67. Okay, now this is a very simple equation. We have to substitute the values only, so we'll get answer as 0.01 Tesla. Okay, now here MIT is given. T is equal to, equation is 2 pi root I upon mb. We have to simplify, so we'll get the answer. So this is nothing but example number 5.1. Now next is example number 5.2. Okay, now see, the question is that the short bar magnet is placed here with the axis at 30 degree. Okay, theta is given as 30 degree. Okay, with the magnetic field, external field, this is external field. See, the magnetic field given is 800 Gauss. Now 1 Gauss minus 4 Tesla. Okay, now the torque produced is 0.016 Newton meter, that is 16 into 10 to minus 3 Newton meter. Okay, see a short bar magnet is placed at angle of 30 degree in a magnetic field, then torque produces this much. We have to find out the dipole moment. See, what is the formula for the torque acting on a bar magnet? That we have discussed is torque is mb sin theta. Okay, so we make m as a subject of the equation, that is b sin theta. Torque is 16. Magnetic field is 8 into 10 to minus 2. Now theta is 30 degree. Sin 30 is 0.5. Okay, now see, we have to substitute the value, so we'll get 0.4 ampere meter square. Okay, now first we have to see the part A of the question. We have to obtain the magnetic moment. Now secondly, okay, see, it is rotated by angle of 180 degree. Okay, what is the change in the potential energy? See, the potential energy minus mb cos theta. Okay, potential energy is minus mb cos theta. Okay, now see, theta 1 is 0 and it is rotated by angle of 180 degree. Theta 2 is 180. Okay, so delta u is u2 minus u1 minus mb cos 180 minus cos 3. Okay, minus 1 cos 0 is 1. See, the change in potential energy will be 2 mb. Now we substitute the value. Okay, there is a change in potential energy. Delta U is 2, m we have obtained as 0.4, d is, okay, so that we obtain as see change in potential energy is in joule. Okay, now this is the second part. See the third part says, see the bar magnet is replaced by a solenoid. Okay, now this is our bar magnet is replaced by a solenoid. Okay, now with the same dipole moment, m is 0.4. Okay, now number of turns are 1000. Now area given is 2 into 10 to minus 4 meter square. How much current we have to find out? Okay, now this is a bar magnet having a 0.4 ampere meter square. We have to obtain, okay, equal dipole moment by using a solenoid which has a number of turns 1000 and area is 2 into 10 to minus 4. We have to find out how much current we have to pass, then we'll get the equivalent amount of dipole moment. So our formula, okay, what is the formula of the dipole moment? M is equal to NIA, that we have seen in lesson number 4 also. In this lesson also we use number of times. So I is equal to M upon NA. Okay, now M, okay, so I is equal to M upon NA. 0.4, number is 1000, area is, okay, now we have to simplify, so we'll get answer as UMP. Okay, so this is the third part of the question. So here first it was given bar magnet experience the torque, from that we obtain the dipole moment. Okay, secondly the dipole, see the bar magnet is rotated by angle of 180 degree, change in potential energy we have calculated. And the third part, see when it is replaced by a solenoid of an equivalent dipole moment, what should be the current pass, so we get the same value. So this is about the example number 5.1 and 5.2. See next time we'll continue with the example and then we'll see for the exercise numerical number of lesson number 5. Okay, thank you.